Meantime, the Senate rejection of the planned $30 billion foreign loan plans by the Buhari's administration will not affect the budgets of the new year. That's from the government. Meantime, that request that was rejected by the Senate still pending at the lower house. So we got the man who is in charge of the investigations of the development finance institutions, is a member of the House. Emeka Anoho is in our Abuja studios this morning to talk to us about what the lower house of legislature is doing regarding the development finance institutions. And when we say the DFIs, we mean the Bank of Agriculture, for example, the Bank of Industry, and others. So it's good to have you on the program. Mr. Anoho, a very quick question. What exactly do you, members of the House of Reps or your ad hoc committee, what exactly do you want?
Thank you. Good morning to you. For starters, we are looking at to look at the possibilities of the huge monetary allocations to these DFIs and see how they have actually affected the economy. We're in recession today, and we're looking at to see who are the beneficiaries of these DFIs, see what they have done, and assess whether it is proper to continue to fund the DFIs.
That looks a very nice summary. So I'm going to ask the key question. You've asked, why are you looking for this money? Now, the key question is this: about how much are you looking for? Number one. Number two, how way back will your investigations cover? What period are you looking at?
Well, from our indications, we're looking at we're supposed to look at from inception after the present administration, and from the expansion of without the military. We are looking at, I know they might not be able to have the documentations to that effect, but we're looking at 5 to 6 years gap. You know, we taking into account of the monies that have been expended to fund and help the small, medium scale businesses. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the first question again. What specific areas are you looking at when you say the DFIs give money? Again, the structure of the DFIs, I'm sure you're well aware of this, is that they get funding from the government and they get from multilateral institutions around the world, like the IFC and what have you, the MIGA, all some arms of the World Bank. So what are you looking at here, holistically speaking?
What we're looking at here is to see the effect of these funds and huge grant, being given to the DFIs, how they have impacted on the lives of the small-scale businesses and medium enterprises. That's exactly the target, to know the impact is done with regard to recession in question as of today.
Interesting, as people say, there's no smoke without fire, but everywhere there is fire, you're likely going to see some smoke. So, what's the smoking gun here? Do you have any? What's the smoking gun? Do you have a smoking gun?
Well, the memorandums have been sent out to these DFIs, and I believe that by the time we get the documents back to us, we will study them and we'll begin the interactive section with the various DFIs. And I believe that we are not here for Winchon, but we're going to look at the books and we're going to match what are in the books with what is on grant and the businesses that are funding as well. Thank you.
In terms of the background, that's what I was just asking. In terms of the background of the DFIs and what you see on the ground, what's the framework of what your committee is expected to do? What does the framework actually says? What does it reveal? What are the concerns?
Well, the framework in essence is about knowing how much of the funds that have been received, knowing how much has been utilized, knowing the impact and whether positively or negatively has affected the lives of our people. That is the core mandate of the committee.
Okay, so in terms of the memorandum or the documents you've sent to the DFIs are concerned, what would you like them to step forward to explain? Number one. Number two, how many of them, and by names, are you asking to step forward and explain to your committee in your legislative role?
We have the Bank of Industry, we have the Bank of Agriculture, we have the Nexim Bank, we have the Infrastructural Development Bank, and we have the Federal Mortgage Bank as well. And what we are asking them is to furnish the committee with information with regards to the beneficiaries of these grants, the beneficiaries of these loans, the beneficiaries that have been given this to improve their businesses, and we will oversight these businesses. We will look at to see whether they match with what they have said, and that is our core mandate here.
Okay, now the DFIs, give us an overview of the DFIs again before you became a legislator and what have you. What's your view about when we say development finance institutions in Nigeria? I'm sure you remember at a point we used to have urban development bank, for example, as a DFI that was supposed to develop Nigeria's urban cities, Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Calabar, Enugu, and the rest. And we've had a few other DFIs that are no longer in existence. What's your view with the benefit of hindsight?
Yeah, but if you look at what is going on in the Senate now, they are proposing to scrap the DFIs or some of the DFIs and have one body to actually be streamlining to get to the target audience. So we are looking at a position where they will be able to assist the federal government in alleviating the problems with the problems with starting up businesses, helping small scale business to develop and become independent on their own. So holistically, we are going to see if the DFIs should just be one DFI, have a proper guideline to the means of distributing the funds to these other people and being able to manage them collectively.
Okay, now it looks like there is where there's a smoke and there is fire here, isn't it? Because you've just touched on it. The government, the Buhari's administration is looking at starting a new DFI, and it looks like behind the curtain a bit of wrangling is going on. Whether Bank of Industry should go, someone confirmed news reports in the media, and whether this new DFI in 2017 will now be the omnibus, as you want to put it, the grandfather of them all. What's your view about this? Is this part of what you're looking at to achieve?
Well, like I said, I mean, they have received letters to that effect, and until we get their letters in and study them properly and begin the interactive section with these DFIs, and that is the only time we will be able to know whether the proposal is in the interest of the country. Thank you.
I asked earlier, what's your personal view of the DFIs in Nigeria?
It is important that we have them. It is important. That's my personal opinion. It is important that we have them. But in having them, there must be accountability, there must be transparency, and there must be proper check and balances. Thank you.
If Nigeria is to have more DFIs set up, in what areas do you think we should have? Of course, there's Bank of Agriculture already. In what critical areas of the economy do you think perhaps we need a new DFI, perhaps not the grandfather and the only one, but perhaps a new one?
Well, the infrastructures are most important to our people. We look at the electricity part, we look at the power, we look at the education sector as well. So they're really important sectors of the economy that drive the economy. So power and education are very critical to my own understanding.
Many years ago, and I remember in the early days of my business journalism career, there were talks about Nigeria should have a maritime bank, for example, that because we need to expand our foreign trade, we need to get bigger in the business of owning the ships, the ocean liners, after the days of the NNSL and the NUL and what have you, because the foreign trade is very critical, so we needed a maritime bank. That, of course, has since died. So I was asking us, do you support banks such as perhaps a maritime bank or an infrastructure bank, apart from the one we currently have?
Well, I mean, there's a body that is in charge of the maritime sector, the NIMASA. We must be careful of duplication of shores and duplication of duties and responsibility. I believe the NIMASA can handle anything that comes under the maritime sector. Thank you.
Okay, I think we will allow you folks to get on with your job. How soon are you going to get started? In the new year or before the end of this year?
January 17th. Thank you.
Oh, that's when you folks will be resuming back from the holidays.
January 17th.
Oh, is that the day when the first public hearing will be taking place?
No, we are resuming by the 10th. The second one. The second one.
Yeah, this is the second one. So that's the 17th. That's when the hearing will be taking place and it's going to be open.
Thank you. That's right. That's correct.
That's correct. Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate that today. Emeka Anohu, Chairman, Committee, the House Committee on DFIs investigations. We will hope to hear from you. And of course, we'll keep an eye on that development.